Movies are hard work, and in order to make them, you really have to care for them.
My love for gemology started when I was a child growing up in Trinidad. I enjoy looking at something and attributing a value to it. My love for gemology started, or just the study of stones, started when I was a child growing up in Trinidad. I remember times when I attended a school in Pitti Valley in Trinidad also. I think that school, it was built on a very high deposit of quartz. Quartz is a stone to a kid that you might think is almost like glass, but we used to think it was diamonds, you know. So when the rain fell and moved away the topsoil, these stones would just be popping up out of the ground, and we would go around during the lunch break and grab them up, take it home, store them. I mean, moving to Canada now, it's all that is back there, but that's a fond memory of collecting stones. A gemologist is a person that studies precious stones. The science or the study of gemmology, you don't take things for granted. It's a proving science, pretty much. So someone puts a stone before you, it might look like a ruby, it might look like an emerald, but you have to really test it to verify that. And there's a bunch of different tests that you can perform on these different specimens, whatever is put before you, to prove that.
To become a gemologist, you need to have a desire to look at things and figure them out. You need to be like a detective. It's good to be able to be very suspicious about everything. And so suspicion becomes almost your middle name. So you try to become, to look at something and prove that it really is what it's claiming to be.
So just gonna have a look at the stones. From this and from experience, I could tell that these are 10 points each. We break it down into 3 basic categories: metal, stones, and the labor. And those are the components that will make up any piece of jewelry, you know. So it's costing the metal that makes that jewelry up, you know, subtracting the weight of the stone, whatever other intricate parts are involved, getting that out, and you do that by calculations and by formula, and then determining actually the size of the stone, the carat weight, and then the labor. How much will it actually cost to make this piece? How much does it cost a setter to set that stone in that ring? There's a body in Canada called the Canadian Gemmological Association. They have a 2-year course that you can do, and after that, completion of that full-time, you can become a gemologist. Years ago, I did my course at George Brown College.
Now at George Brown, we'll study crystals, and then we'll study the instruments and how to use them. Students study for about 8 months. Then they often are working hard to prepare for their Canadian or their British certification.
You got a certificate from George Brown, and you wrote the final exam at the Canadian Gemmological Association. And I became a member of the Canadian Gemmological Association. I would say my favorite gem is an emerald. It's such a unique stone. It's green most of the times. It has a lot of inclusions in it, and inclusions are just, to make it simple, just things that you see inside of the stone. It may look like a crack, or it may look like a feather, or it may look like something to the regular unknown eye, but it's just a stone that comes with its own characteristics. I like gemmology because it's really giving value to something. But really, until you go through the process, and I enjoy going through that process of coming to validate that, or just give it an identity. I really enjoy that part of jewelry. Gems come from rocks. From the rock, it's cut, it's fashioned, it's polished, and set into some metal structure and sold as jewelry. But basically, sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks from volcanoes, that's really a source of these precious stones from inner earth. Just finding these unique pieces of stones was just amazing. And now, just the art of appraising it, it's unique in itself.